Good afternoon, everyone. International Monetary Fund now wants to know what individuals are doing with their digital footprint. The top of the financial pyramid, 6 levels removed, but they still want to know what you're surfing online. Energy fail. Coldest and snowiest in decades takes renewables offline. To the rescue. Fossil fuels for heat. Helicopters to de-ice the blades. Snowstorm so intense, gonna head further south than Greece. Thought I misread this chart here. 46 degrees Fahrenheit below the normal temperatures. All the green in the center of the US. Which means we're all paying more for energy. Oh, and higher food prices. New studies show that by the time people reach their middle ages, the body often produces less than half of the collagen it did in their youth. Collagen is the main building block in our skin, making up 70 to 80% of it. This is why we get sagging skin and wrinkles as we age. If you want to look younger, you must supplement collagen, which will improve your skin's elasticity, make it smoother, more plump, and more youthful looking. That's why Ageless Multi-Collagen provides 5 key types of collagen you need from 4 different sources, essential to optimally support an array of full-body benefits. No odor, no taste, no clumping, unlike other collagen supplements. And this is why I recommend Health with Adapt 2030. Ageless Multi-Collagen, and look at that, I need another bag already. Quick way for youthful appearance. Use the link in the description box below for 51% off my favorite Ageless Multi-Collagen. And now on with the video. Stories like this definitely point towards some sort of global monitoring system for everybody, financial-wise, access to information-wise. That's off the Daily Coin. International Monetary Fund wants to use a digital footprint of customers. But I'm not a customer, nor are you. International Monetary Fund customers are central banks, the World Bank, and governments. But they want to look at your online activities to assess credit worthiness. Isn't there already a full mechanism for this already through your established credit scores, through your banks? You got a 750, yay. You got an 800, you can buy a house. You got a 600, you have a problem. Not that many people are going to lend you money in this day and age. But for the IMF to come out and say they want to target individuals to see what their online activities are for creditworthiness, and when I mean multiple levels removed from the general populace, taking a look at what they call the financial pyramid here. Bank for International Settlements sits at the very top. The next level down is the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Then we step down to central banks across the world, Federal Reserve, Bank of Japan, European Central Bank, etc. And then we come into what we call commercial banks like Citibank, Chase. Then we step down and we get the full corporations, the corporate level. Those are $100 billion companies. Then we step down into local municipalities and governments, and then you are at the very bottom, along with the animals. So how is it the International Monetary Fund so far at the very top of the pyramid wants to monitor you as an individual instead of letting the traditional system that's already been set, unless they're going to a global system? Now, one thing I found really interesting in the article here was they were pointing to the conundrum of not everybody having a credit card and not everybody having a credit record. So what they want to do is try to reel in the entire globe so you have some sort of credit reference for the entire planet, whether you partake in the system or not, whether you've stepped out of it and go cash only. They still want to know what you purchase, what you look at online, and this will determine how good of a world citizen you are to access services in the future, at least the way I'm reading it here. Continues down in the next paragraph. They also want to tap data such as the browser that you use. Because, see, they understand if you're using Chrome, you're willing to be tracked. If you're using Brave, you don't want to be tracked. So these are all the score type variables that are going to be put into your credit assessment method. Now also another part in that very last sentence where it says, enabling more credit to informal workers and households and firms in rural areas. They're already telling you where they're going to target to try to get more information because they're lacking in the rural areas. They know a lot of people are going to move out there as the cities are collapsing. All financial eyes are going to move rural. So they're already broadcasting the moves here. So zooming in a little bit closer on that same pyramid that I showed you before, that Bank of International Settlements is right at the top there. That's a central bank for the central banks and clearing houses of the central banks and all banks on the planet in order hierarchy. So when a bank fails like HSBC, it'll run off to the central bank and say, hey, we need help. And then entire nations are overtaken by the World Bank, and we know their loan practices to scarf up natural resources across the planet. Because I think this World Bank interlink with the International Monetary Fund is going to be another way that they can say, well, we need to monitor the countries, and then the countries themselves need to monitor everybody's credit, but the repository and database is going to be up at the IMF. So this whole disconnect of global financial go-to and issuance now wants to know every single individual on the planet. So you know it's a global system coming. And another thing they're trying to do is roll out all these green agendas and whatnot across the planet to go away from the traditional fossil fuels. But here's the problem. Over in Germany and other nations in Europe right now, coldest in decades, most snow in decades. So this is the first time they've really had to deal with such a winter onslaught onto the infrastructure. The images kind of speak for itself. What the solar panel arrays look like across Europe. They stopped generating. And the wind turbines as well. So they're close to a grid down situation there at the moment. They can't get the power even if they want it. So they had to go to the backup coal and gas. So we have at least 30,000 wind turbines sitting idle. Now idle is a gray area term on this. Wind turbines are still moving, but they're using the heat and electricity that they're creating that should be on-sold to heat and make sure the mechanisms inside the turbines stay warm and the internal workings don't freeze. But we're going down into near 0 degrees Fahrenheit. These wind turbines are not built for that at the moment. Millions of solar panels blanketed in snow. And over here off Climate Depot, Mark Morano's site, across the Nordic countries, see the wind turbines there completely iced in. So what they had to do was use helicopters to take de-icing liquid, just like you would get on an airplane for the wings, and go up and do the same de-icing maneuvers. Now, if the helicopter's not there, then what happens? And these types of ferocious freezes are going to become more common as we step into this grand solar minimum. Okay, this is the year that it's actually totally out there for the world to see. Something's not exactly as it was supposed to be. Not only in terms of the green energy bringing power in the middle of winter, which it's not, that is its whole can of worms, but this whole grand solar minimum now really intensifying to the point where winter's already started early in the southern hemisphere. You got birds freezing and falling out of the sky in Western Australia, which is a little unexplainable. You know, a lot of people talk about bird strikes on the turbines here, but this was real interesting. Rotors coming around and catching insects. Blade impacts causing them to be aerodynamically inefficient, so they'll have to go around and clean the blades. But job creation, I mean, look at all those jobs. You can clean insects off blades. Where's the application? I'm just waiting in line for that one. And we're coming to the tail end, if you will, of this super freeze event. And you can see, even as it's starting to dissipate, how far it has dropped. Clear down, tipping into Greece. And these temperatures about 3 days ago were substantially cooler than these readings, what you're seeing right here with the minus 20, minus 30. But over into Greece for the next 3 days here, significant snowfalls, up to a foot all the way down coastal. Lebanon was rocked with that blizzard as well. So things are not the world we were told where snow would be a thing of the past. And as I was digging into this record high natural gas pricing article in the US, I thought this chart was wrong. I thought I misread it, and I looked and I said, does that say minus 46 degrees below the normal temperature? Apparently it is. It's actually off the chart into the mid-50s and possibly 60 degrees below the normal. This is as far as they can track it at minus 46 Fahrenheit, below the normal temperature. So you can get a good gauge of where you are on this map on how cold it's going to get through the rest of the week, and then in turn what your energy prices will be. Because right now we have record electrical pricing across Canada and the United States. and record natural gas pricing. And it's just going to be another chance for the corporations to gouge you and rake you over the coals, saying, well, it was so cold we couldn't get the gas. You have to pay triple, whatever it is. And they're going to take advantage of this situation to the uber. Expect your utility bills to be yet another transfer of wealth. And Pivotal Weather showing the same thing here with the temperatures. Their chart goes down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit below normal. But as you'll see, the readings inside Texas and the Texas Panhandle, we're looking at some 55-degree below normal temperatures, as well as 50, 45 degrees below normal. And where that line is out to the east through central Tennessee down into Alabama, that is going to be a ferocious storm front. Those kind of temperatures behind pushing in something much warmer, probably going to see thunderstorms along there in February. All the more reason to have storable foods in your house. I mean, these types of events here, what if your power goes down? Are you going to be able to get out to get food? Ice storms, snow. Even if you have cash, the stores are going to close because they can't use their just-in-time ordering, so they can't scan the barcode, so they're not going to sell you anything even if you have cash, because that will mess up their entire ordering inventory. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030, 2-week or the 4-week emergency food supply, as well as larger kits in the 6-month and 1-year food supplies as well. The link's in the description box below. It's a great way to support the channel, keep your family safe, and allow me to bring you more information just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.